Hey everybody! 2020 has been fucking nuts, but cinema is still alive whether you've been paying attention or not. I've seen over 188 films from 2020 that have been released here in the States or abroad thanks to streaming services, online friends, and online film festivals. Hollywood may not have thrived, but that allowed room for a much needed spotlight on other films from around the world. I'll be counting down my 20 favorite, not best, artist subjective, change your language. My 20 favorite films of 2020, starting with number 20. House of Hummingbird. It's 1994 in Seoul, South Korea. A coming-of-age story about a young girl who tries to find a real connection with someone, anyone. It's a beautiful film, and Park Ji-hoo gives one of my favorite performances of the year. Number 19, Time. A documentary that follows Fox Rich and her family through the use of self-recorded video and Bradley's footage. It spans over 20 years as the family tries to cope and power through life after Rich's husband is incarcerated following a robbery. The film is gorgeous and heartbreaking. The U.S. judicial system is a disaster. Oh yeah, and fuck the police. Number 18, Ainu Mosir. It's another coming-of-age story that follows a young boy growing up in modern-day Japan while struggling with his indigenous traditions. I love that the film doesn't end all tied up in an obvious life lesson. It shows the struggles from all sides and leaves it all for the young main character Kanto and the audience to make of it what they will. It's fantastic. Number 17, Ib Ale-u. In New Delhi, a young man gets a job scaring off monkeys and begins approaching it in creative ways while also dealing with his home life. What begins as a rather traditionally structured fun dramedy of sorts morphs into something surprisingly powerful with an ending that I'll always remember. Number 16, La Casa Lobo, or The Wolf House. It's an animated film about a young girl that flees from her village to a cabin in the woods to escape punishment. The animation is fucking haunting, and the disturbing political roots make this a very eerie but very fascinating experience. Number 15, Nasir. A street salesman goes about his daily life as the surrounding socio-political climate begins erupting. It's beautiful and thoughtful filmmaking. The tension between the Muslim and Hindu communities surrounds the entire film, but remains mostly sidelined until the memorable final moment. Number 14, The Cordillera of Dreams. It's a documentary that travels through the director's personal memories and Chile's political history. A beautiful and touching portrait of personal reflection and meditation. The correlation between the history and the poetry of the Cordillera and that of the political and human history of Chile intertwined so brilliantly. Number 13, I'm No Longer Here. A young Mexican gang leader is forced to flee Mexico to the U.S. to escape another gang. He struggles in New York City and begins missing his home. The journey is incredibly captivating, and watching Daniel Garcia as Ulysses navigate through such deeply stressful series of events kept me glued to every single moment. Number 12, Collective. A document of the corruption in the government and healthcare system in Romania after a fire in a nightclub kills many citizens. The documentary builds in suspense like a thriller with unbelievable twists and turns that shouldn't be real, but unfortunately are very real all around the world. So much of the world is run by power-hungry assholes, and we should be uplifting people who try to take them down. Number 11, The Mole Agent. An old Chilean man is hired to go undercover to investigate possible abuse in a nursing home. I did not expect to love a film so incredibly heartwarming, but every bit of this was a joy to experience. It's a real-life caper with exciting characters and beautiful human moments. My 10 favorite films of the year will be in the next video, but please remember that art is subjective and your experience with a film will always be personal and different than another person's experience. Competition is illogical and toxic. Uplift your favorites and respect each individual's personal journey through cinema, but always do the work. See as much as you can and support world cinema. Thanks.